So can you test the mark? Let people know that.
Good morning, folks. Good morning from Liberia. It's gloomy like Tuesday morning. The sun is not up yet, but it's a beautiful morning on the grounds of Capitol Hill. Besides from here, Temple of Justice. Please let us know the quality of the audio by commenting. Please let us know so that we can make some technical adjustments. It's perfect. We can begin this live podcast. So kindly leave a comment. So kindly let us know the quality of the audio. We are doing some technical adjustments so that we can bring you a perfect audio quality. So folks, please do let us know the audio quality so that we can continue this podcast. We are here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. So please, we are begging your indulgence. We need your comments to know how good the audio is. All right, thank you. Good morning again, good morning, welcome. This is Spoon TV Live coming to you from the grounds of the Temple of Justice. My name is Diamond Slanger and I'm here with Haji Masale as well as Emmanuel Paling David. Today is day number 2 of the trial of the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 other co-defendants, namely Rebecca Yude Wisner, Gertrude Newton, and Alice Johnson. It's an all-female, co-defendant squad that has been brought here this morning for day 2 of the trial at the grounds of the Temple of Justice, to be precise, in Criminal Court A. So about 9:30 a.m. this morning, they arrived on board the corrections bus, the Bureau of Corrections bus, the white bus that has been transporting them back and forth from the Monrovia Central Prison here to the court on the at the Temple of Justice on Capitol Hill, I should say. So we'll give you a recap of what happened yesterday and why we're here, and we also do have some reporters and contributors seated within Criminal Court A to give us real-time information as to what is unfolding there as well. So we want to keep you in touch, and we also want you to keep letting us know the quality of the audio as well as we do this podcast for you. We will be following this case through its entirety as well. When we pan around and showed you the grounds of the Temple of Justice, the police contingent arrived about 15 minutes ago, a pickup full of police support unit officers as well as mixed with officers of the Liberia Immigration Service. So they are here providing security on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. This is a very high-profile case. This case involves, at one point, the head of the judiciary in this country as well from 1997 to 2003. That is the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu Scott. She also served as Senator of Maryland County from 2005 to 2012, and her last position held in government at the top level when she served as the head of the Governors Commission as well. That's the Constitution Review Committee as well, appointed by former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So she's in court along with the 3 other co-defendants, and we'll be bringing you real-time information as to what is unfolding. This morning, when they arrived, she was wearing a she was seen wearing a purplish, African dress, not the same as yesterday, a different one, but similar in color, but more purplish and gray than what she wore on yesterday. Instead of sporting the black hair tie that we've seen her wearing on a regular basis, this time around, she is wearing a gray and white hair tie to match the dress, wearing the corrections jacket, of course, handcuffed. The 4 of them were escorted by police and correction officers into the courtroom. All right, so let's go back on what happened yesterday here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, the first day of the trial hearing as arraigned before Judge Roosevelt Willie of Criminal Court A. So on yesterday, 2 motions were filed. The defense counsel filed a motion for the reautopsy and the revisitation of the crime scene. Those 2 appeals were denied by Judge Roosevelt Willie. And then the prosecution, the movements, also had filed for a change of venue of the prosecution. That is, they wanted the venue of this trial to be relocated, to be changed from Montserrado to another county. Their reason for wanting this change of venue is the overemphasis, the massive way this case is being discussed, not just by the media, but also, by the general population as well. And that motion again was denied by Judge Roosevelt Willie, meaning this case will continue to be heard here at Criminal Court A in Montserrado County at the Temple of Justice. And again, there was some misunderstanding that led to the jury selection being pushed to today because the defense counsel said questions being asked by the prosecution, especially the question of whether a juror will want to be sequestrated, whether a juror will want to be kept, in the basement during the entirety of the trial. The defense counsel took exception to that particular question as well, and they were alleging that some of the jurors have been tampered with. They've been infused into making sure that the state can get a guilty verdict on the 3 crimes that have been levied against the former Chief Justice and her 3 other co-defendants. Those crimes include murder, which is the top of the bunch, criminal conspiracy, as well as making false statements to law enforcement officers or officials. Now, jury selection begins today. That's the continuation. Today, there will be 12 jurors, but 3 will be alternating. Out of the 12, so far, only 1 person, we've been told, was selected by both the defense and the prosecution. So meaning 11 permanent jurors and 3 rotating or alternating jurors will need to be selected today. So we see the vehicle there, the navy blue vehicle is one of the vehicles belonging to the former Chief Justice, Councilor Gloria Musu Scott. And you see family members and supporters alike, old and young, making their way into the courtroom to offer her some sort of moral support. So we want to bring you up to speed with their arrival as well this morning. We do apologize for coming on late. We wanted to make sure that everything technically was well in place so that we can give you this continuous coverage. That's what we'll be doing. We wouldn't be going off unless it's a technical reason, but we will remain live through the entirety of trial day 2 here at Criminal Court A, Temple of Justice. All right, so let's bring you updates quickly from the courtroom. So the 4 defendants arrived around 9:30 thereabouts this morning. They were escorted in the courtroom, as we said. Their lawyers also did follow, as well as the prosecution lawyers. We can tell you that the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Yanti Twan, is also there in Criminal Court A. He is the government's lead lawyer. This morning, after both prosecution and defense lawyers were seated, the defendants are seated as well. They in a conversational mood, I've been told by one of our sources within the court, but they're more in a head huddle. So their heads are kind of huddled together and they are having a conversation. Now, they were awaiting the judge at the time about 9:45 thereabout. The judge was not yet present in the courtroom, according to our source. The prosecution lawyers include Councillor Nyanti Tuan, the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, also Councillor Bobby Livingstone, as well as other councillors. For the defense counsel, we can give you some names on the defense team. We have Augustine Faya, Councillor Augustine Faya, Councillor Amara Sharif, and others as well. There are two female lawyers on board the defense team. Two female lawyers, we've been informed by one of our sources within. So the judge is seated now, and at the time of getting this message at about 10:08 a.m., the judge was recognizing lawyers who were present. That is what we call representation. So the judge is going to ask for representations, and the defense team are going to mention their names, and they are representing their clients. The prosecution will also mention their names, and they are representing their clients, which is the state, that's the Republic of Liberia as well. So after the representation was made, both sets of lawyers, went to have a discussion with the judge. That was a confidential discussion, we've been told by one of our sources within Criminal Court A. They didn't hear what exactly was discussed, but after that, the defense lawyers then returned to their seats and again, engaged in a head huddle and were having discussions. So now, prospective jurors have been called in. So we've informed you earlier on that it is jury selection that is currently ongoing. So prospective jurors have been called forward to determine whether or not they are qualified to sit on the case. So what we want to tell you as well, 5 prospective jurors have been called in, to see whether or not they are qualified to sit on the case. So both the prosecution and the defense lawyers are going to quiz and crisscross these jurors to make sure, that they are satisfied, because after the jurors are selected, meaning both the defense and the prosecution are satisfied with these jurors, and hence they have accepted that they should be the ones to come up with a verdict on this particular case. In the case involving murder, they are going to. So we've been asked to put ourselves in the corner, but we'll do our best to make sure that we are presenting to you exactly what is unfolding here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice.
You know what the chief doesn't keep? I mean, she will not know what the people. The way they live after they have to, it. Maybe the thing that I'm telling you people, I beg you. We don't want to get you from I beg you.
All right, folks, so we have to readjust ourselves, and allow them to do their work as we do our work as well. So, as they said, yeah, Haji, so we can continue. We apologize for that, we're on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. They've got their mandate as well, and we are doing our job. We have to understand and do what we have to do to bring you the story. So as we were saying from updates from the court, so 5 prospective jurors, have been called to be quizzed by, that's examined and cross-examined by both the defense and prosecution lawyers. So they've been quizzed about their knowledge of the case, after which they'll be determined whether or not they're qualified to sit on the case of the on this case as jurors. So amongst the 5 prospective jurors, only one person so far has been qualified. Amongst the 5 that has been called, only one person so far has been qualified. So meaning you have the selection of 11 more prospective jurors, to to sit on this case and render the verdict. So Haji is going to pan the camera around. We're trying to negotiate, with the security officers here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice so that we can get a good view of the courtroom. Though we will not be entering the courtroom, but at least we don't want to be confined to the walls. So we're trying to negotiate with them so that we can at least be given some sort of access to stand somewhere around here to be showing you not just the walls, but showing you around the grounds of the Temple of Justice as matters, are unfolding here. This is day 2 of the trial involving the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 other co-defendants, namely Gertrude Newton, Rebecca Ude Wisner, and Alice Johnson, as we are getting more. So the second batch, so the first batch of prospective jurors, that's the first batch, contained 5 prospective jurors. Out of the first batch, only 1 was qualified after being examined and cross-examined. How you want to dress banner? How you want to do the dressing banner? Huh?
So that's the arrival of the Chief Justice, Her Honor Siane Yo, assigned with EPS officers, and she steps out of her vehicle. So as Damon told you earlier, that our reporter is stationed in the courtroom, is feeding us with all the necessary information. And so there goes the Chief Justice, Siane Yo, with assigned EPS officers.
All right, folks, we're sorry for that break in the commentary. We had to make sure that we were given some space to be able to conduct our work, do our work as well, making sure that as well we do not get in any sort of confrontation with sheriffs and other officers of the law that are making sure they do their duties as well. But we strive to do our best to keep bringing you real-time information as to what is unfolding here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, especially there in Criminal Court A, where the biggest case so far being heard is the case involving the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, former Senator of Maryland County, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 others. All right, so let us keep bringing you updates from within the courtroom. So as we said, the first batch of prospective jurors, that's 5. Each batch includes 5 prospective jurors. The court is looking for 15 jurors in total. 12 are going to be permanently seated as jurors, and then 3 are going to be alternating jurors as well. Once jury selection is done, all of the jurors are going to be sequestrated. They are going to be put in the basement of the Temple of Justice here, where they will be fed, where their phones will be taken from them. They will now listen to radio. They will not watch television. They will have zero contact with the outside world, because then you don't want them to follow trends outside that is going to influence their decision making in the process. They are going to be heavily guarded as well, so as to make sure there is zero partiality when it comes to passing a verdict or rendering a verdict in this matter. So the first batch of 5, only 1 person was selected after being examined and cross-examined by both sets of lawyers, that is the defense and the prosecution. So the second batch of 5 prospective jurors are being called forward to determine who is qualified as well. So far, only one person has been qualified to be a juror in this case. So we'll be bringing you more information. We'll be bringing you more information as we get information from our guys who are stationed there in Criminal Court A. We'll follow this case through its entirety. This is a landmark case in Liberia. It's a very big case. It has been discussed from different angles, various reasonings and opinions. People are wondering what is going to be the strategy of the prosecution in this matter. Are they going to look for credible witnesses? What kind of material evidence are they going to provide? And there are others who are speculating that since all of the 4 defendants have pleaded not guilty to 3 counts leveled against them, that is murder, not guilty; criminal conspiracy, not guilty; providing false information or making false statements to law enforcement officials, they also pled not guilty on that particular count as well. Now, the strategy, other legal luminaries who've spoken with, other legal experts, they've said prosecution should now go into seeking whether they can get a weak link, whether or not they can single out somebody and provide them a deal, one person out of the 4, whether they can provide that person a deal. Like, who's got the most to lose in this case? You have Alice Johnson. She's the youngest of the 3. You want to put her on a deal and say, look, you've got your whole life ahead of you. If you know something, you can come up and let us know, and we'll send your case to be what they call non persecutoire. They cannot prosecute you. They'll give you some plea deal. They are going to say, okay, we'll drop all the charges against you, and you can tell us what you know, provided if they can determine who out of the 4 actually did the alleged stabbing. Did the 4 of them stab the late Chalo Musu, or one person amongst the 4 was the one who stabbed Chalo Musu? And if you're able to determine who did that, then you can offer 1 or 2 persons a deal to be able to get a conviction. In the law, they say they want to get the person who's got the highest level of involvement. They look for the big fish, the person who's the most culpable, if you want to put it that way, in this matter. There are also talks about having informants planted on them at the Monrovia Central Prison, South Beach. That we've been hinted by some sources that the state has also put female informants. You want to call them leech, you want to call them snitches, you want to call them rats, whatever name you want to call them. They have their informants as well, coming in the guise of conversations, wanting to see what they can gather, and everything. Remember, if you are in a state penitentiary, whatever course you make, they're subjected to public recording. I don't know if we have that system here in Liberia, but they use that to get more information. So how the state's strategy is to prove this case beyond all reasonable doubt, that is what we here to witness during these trial days. Let's talk about the defense strategy as well. This is a case that is to be judged based on beyond reasonable doubt. That is the criteria. You have 12 jurors who are going to determine whether or not eyewitnesses' account, evidence provided, material evidence, forensic evidence, all meets the criteria of being put beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense team strategy is only to plant doubt in the heads of jurors, to counter state evidence, to say, look, yes, they said this happened, but how well can they prove this? How tight can they prove this, beyond reasonable doubt? How substantive are the witnesses they bring in? How credible are the witnesses, the material evidence, the forensic evidence, and all of these things, looking at the circumstances, the facts surrounding. So this is just the beginning. We're still here at the jury selection process. That is what is ongoing. We've not even started where witnesses will be called, accounts will be given, expert witnesses will be called, law enforcement agents will be called. This is going to last at least for a little while. The criminal court term is 42 days. A criminal court term is 42 days. So you should brace yourself that this trial could go for at least 42 to 84 days, because if a case is before the court, 2 terms of court, and you cannot get a verdict, then they will be eligible to go for bail and say, okay, look, we've been here for too long, the state is not finding anything, we just can't keep being incarcerated, so you have to grant us bail to get out, or the case might be dropped as well. So it's a long way to go, but let's go back into details from Criminal Court A. So far, out of the 10 prospective jurors that have been brought before the court to determine whether or not they're qualified, only one person so far has said on an oath that she doesn't know anything about the case. So the rest of the 9 said they have idea on the case. So hence, these lawyers are going to take it as these guys already have been listening to public opinions. It might sway in their reasoning. So you do not want somebody who has already admitted that they've got knowledge about the case, they've been following the case, and they've been listening to radio, they know what is happening, they've been listening to legal pundits, political pundits, radio hosts, and the rest, and that is going to sway in their decision-making process. So far, 10 prospective jurors have been brought before the court, and only 1 has been selected as a juror. Spoon TV Live, coming to you from the grounds of the Temple of Justice. My name is Diamond Slanger. I'm here with Haji Masale and Emmanuel David. We'll take you on a tour around, and as we get more information, we'll bring you up to speed to what is happening.
So we will look at the possibility of getting all the jurors today. How possible it is to get all the jurors today, because only 1 out of the 10 that have been presented, only 1 was selected. And the 1 selected spoke of not being in the know of this case, having no knowledge of this particular murder case. So he or she was selected automatically, and was certified by the two sides. Both sides certified that juror. So will we have all 12? Yeah. Will we have all 12 jurors being certified by both sides? Is the biggest question at the moment, and we are yet to see whether the 12 jurors will be selected today. But as Damo rightly put it, this is a long way to go in selecting the jurors and getting to the bottom of the case and having a verdict given in this particular case. So Spoon TV, as always, dishing out Liberia's best. We are here at the Temple of Justice, bringing you coverage of the trial involving the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, Her Honor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 others in this murder trial. Our reporter is stationed in there giving us the information. He's among other reporters there that are feeding us with the necessary information. As the information comes, we give it to you real time. So it's no time to waste. Damo is sorting out some pieces of information, and he having some briefer, making some rounds to make sure we got all the information from inside. And rest assured, what happens inside will be discussed right here on this platform, and we will tell you, not a form of discussion to ask for your opinion, but to tell you what is happening inside. So, normally in court proceedings, cameras are not allowed, or live filming is not allowed in the court, except when the 2 sides agreed, and so is the judge, then of course camera can be allowed, and the case itself can be televised or telecast. So as it stands, for this case, we are not discussing telecasting the entire trial, except for what we are doing, giving you this live coverage and getting update from the main court room. So Damo Slanger is the lead of this team. My name is Haji Masale. Also have Emmanuel Davis here. Our reporter is stationed in there, among other reporters who are feeding us with more information.
So thank you, Haji. We will be alternating with the microphone as I'm trying to get more information for you from Criminal Court A. Haji will be continuing the commentary, and that's how we'll be doing it, to make sure that we just don't leave you without giving you information as to what is unfolding. So far, what's happening in the courtroom again, we've been informed by one of our many sources there within the courtroom that the co-defendants, that is the former Chief Justice and the three others named within the indictment that was read to them on yesterday, and they entered their plea as well. They've been seen in conversations. They're having conversations, they're talking, but they're talking under, they are at a very low tone, I should say. They're talking under their voices, if you want to call it that way, and their lawyers as well conversing, but it is still the second batch of prospective jurors that were just dismissed, and so far only one person has been selected out of the 10 prospective jurors that were submitted to the court and for qualification. So they've passed through the examination and cross-examination from both sets of lawyers, and so far only one juror, one person has been selected to be a juror on this case. So this is a very, very high-profile case. The issue of jury selection in any other case other than this is very paramount, because you are talking about 12 persons, laymen, who have no legal knowledge, to listen to merits of the case, to listen to arguments proffered before them, to see evidence that is given, and to come up with a conclusive reasoning whether or not a person is guilty beyond reasonable doubt. So on the 22nd of February 2023, according to the former Chief Justice, her home was invaded by an unknown assailant or assailants, and in the process, her daughter, the now late Chalo Musu, was stabbed multiple times. According to the former Chief Justice's account, she had engaged the alleged perpetrator and pepper sprayed that person's eye. She doused the person with an amount of pepper spray, and then she put herself in a safe confines. When that was said, she was the subject of vast sympathy from majority of the population, that, a former state woman or whom, burglarized or allegedly invaded into, broken into. And later on, we did see a twist in the case when the former head of the LACC, Valley Teller, then put a political angle to this whole case when he then named, that's not Valley Teller, but Councillor Jerome Verdier, named Valley Teller. That was when the name Valley Teller surfaced in this entire matter. Later on, after some time, the LNP then invited Valley Teller as a person of interest, along with the Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji, to answer questions as to whether or not they've got knowledge, whether or not they could assist with the investigation. And after his round of questioning, the Monrovia City Mayor then pledged 10,000, that's 5,000 United States dollars, to anybody who's going to come up with information that will lead to the arrest of the alleged perpetrator or perpetrators in this particular case. Months waged on, we were hearing information about who's going to be charged, who's going to be indicted. Then the former Chief Justice turned from a victim into a person of interest and now a suspect in the murder of her daughter, Chalo Musu. She's been in jail since the 21st of June, pending trial. Now the trial is set and it's ongoing. This is day number 2. So if you do your calculations, it's well over 2 months since she and 3 others were then sent to the Monrovia Central Prison to wait their trial on pre-trial detention. Let's see if we can go back to the court. And they failed on 2 occasions to get bail granted onto them. The first was at the Monrovia City Court. The court said, look, this matter is way above our jurisdiction. We don't, adjudicate matters involving murder, so we have to send you to Criminal Court A. The magistrate and Magistrate Barcon also said that, look, you should have taken advantage of the pre-trial, hearing. You should have asked the government to deduce evidence, whether or not there is enough evidence for this case to go to trial. You didn't do that. You just asked for a bail bond. And bail bond is way above the Monrovia City Court, so we have to send you to Criminal Court A. Again, when they were forwarded to Criminal Court A, her lawyers again filed for bond. That, look, she's a senior stateswoman. She's not a flight risk. She's got integrity. The state cannot prove who actually committed the murder. Now they have everybody in a blanket, indictment. So if they can point out whom they are charging with murder, then the rest can get out on lesser charges for giving false statements to law enforcement and criminal conspiracy. They could have been granted bail. Again, they lost that second bail bond hearing and they were sent back to the confines of the Monrovia Central Prison. All right, folks. That is why we're here. The case was set to go to trial on yesterday, and yesterday we also saw the judge denying two motions. The first motion was a motion filed by the defense counsel to do a reautopsy and a revisitation of the crime scene. That motion was denied by the judge. The prosecution also filed for a motion of the change of venue of this prosecution. Again, the judge denied that, using the Supreme Court opinion, as a reliance that usually a change of venue motion is usually filed for by the defense, not the prosecution. The prosecution / movements accepted the ruling, but with an exception. But still, they hear on the second day, and jury selection is currently ongoing. Let's see if we can get more updates from our sources within the court there, Criminal Court A, here at the Temple of Justice. So once we get more updates, we will bring you up to speed as to what is happening in the court. But so far, the ambience here is a quiet one. There has been no disturbances since yesterday. The Liberia National Police Detachment here have got little or nothing to do. They've just been making sure that they are in preparedness for whatever that might happen. But everybody here has been conducting themselves accordingly. Family members, friends, those who have come, the media, everybody is in a court. Bringing you a live coverage here from the ground of the Temple of Justice. To share with you what we can do here. There are one or two rulings. They are all related to this case that will be handed down by the Supreme Court of Liberia. Those three rulings involve the senatorial candidate of the CDC in Margibi County, Natana Magio. The issue of his domicile has been questioned by some citizens of Margibi County. Senator Milton Tiaji of Sino County as well, and as well as another person referred to popularly as original countryman. I'm still trying to get his name. He's also a candidate, and those three individuals' domicile have been questioned, and hence the Supreme Court on today will be giving their ruling in those cases as well. They are totally unrelated to what is happening in the that case. But since we are on the court, we will be talking to our sources who are following that case from the Supreme Court. Let us know the audio quality as we see the audio. Let's see if we can work on that, Haji. Let's see if we can work on the quality of the audio. So I'll listen in from my phone, and we'll see whether or not the audio quality is still at its best. So please let us know the quality of the audio. We are doing our own due diligence here as well, our own testing, so we can confirm that the audio quality is good. All right, but we'll rely on your comments. Our producers are going to rely on your comments, to make sure that we up to speed with the audio quality being top notch for you. So trying to get more updates, not just from Criminal Court A, but we'll be trying to get updates for you from the Supreme Court of Liberia. You see the flag is up. Once the flag is hosted, meaning there is a case being heard, or there is a ruling on an opinion to be handed down by the Supreme Court of Liberia. So the flag is up. We did see the Chief Justice make an entry there into the Supreme Court, and once the opinion is handed down, or the ruling of the Supreme Court in those three domicile cases involving former Minister of State Natana McGill, Senator Milton Tiaji, and another person, I'm still trying to get his real name, but he's popularly known as Original Countryman, and their domicile clauses have been questioned as well. So let's see if we can get more updates from Criminal Court A. That's what we're trying to do for you, to bring you more updates from our sources within the court, to let us know what is actually unfolding there, so that you can be informed as you're following Spoon TV. My name is Diamond Slanger. Haji Masale is also here producing. Emmanuel David is also, here forming part of the team. Plus, we have other reporters and contributors within Criminal Court A. So I'm trying to get more information. I'm trying to get more information. And on yesterday, when we did speak to some of our sources within the corrections sector, they told us again that the former Chief Justice is being kept in the maximum security segment or the section of the Monrovia Central Prison. We see Fabin, but Fabin is also, following other cases, and Fabin is going to contribute later. So we have, a variety of correspondents and reporters and contributors. That's what we do. We bring on everybody who's got knowledge, expert knowledge, to make sure we bring you a balanced, commentary or analysis of what is happening here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. So on yesterday, when we did speak to some corrections officers, those in the corridors there at the Monrovia Central Prison, they were relaxed in telling us that, look, the former Chief Justice is in the maximum security section of the Monrovia Central Prison. They are not kept in the same cell. In fact, they've been separated. And whether, again, that is a strategy by the prosecution to make sure that once they can isolate them, once they can separate them, they can be able to crack or break one person into getting a confession or getting someone of the four to turn state witness. In this case, a witness of that caliber is going to be very, very important, because you're talking about four persons who were in the house when this happened, and the four of them are still on the same team, and the four of them are still, being defended by the same team of lawyers. They're not having a separate trial. You have to go in there and see which of the four can you be able to crack and get some sort of deal with to be able to turn state witness. And if that is done, if the state is able to do such, then this case is going to see a serious twist, because there's been a lot of speculation as to what really happened in that house. People have said a lot of things. We are not going to discuss the merits of the case. We are just going to analyze based on what we've been told from within the court, what is happening and what is being said publicly as well. So a lot of different narratives. This case has also seen, a big divide in the population. There are those who are for the former Chief Justice, saying that this is all politically motivated. There are others who are saying, look, irrespective of your stature, irrespective of your status in society, irrespective of whichever position you serve in government, you are subject to the law. The law doesn't care. The law doesn't see. The law is supposed to be blind. So in this case, you should be brought to book. There should be no slacks cut as well in this case. So hence you see there are different opinions, different sides, different perspectives, different narratives, different theories, a lot of other things being said concerning what exactly happened. The only way we can be able to know what exactly happened is when these defendants are taking when these defendants take the witness stands and they give their narratives, and the state is able to counter, the state is able to prove, the state is able to provide irrefutable evidence, the state is able to, beyond reasonable doubt, that look, your narrative of what happened is not what exactly happened. This is what happened based on the corroborating evidence that we've brought to the table. So you see, this is not just a matter of he say, she say, or they say. When it comes to the court of law, it's about what you can prove with argument backing evidence, and beyond a reasonable doubt, what you can make stick. All right, so we've gotten some information, Haji. So 2 down, 13 to go. So out of the 15 prospective jurors, 12 will be permanent jurors. So far, only 2 have been selected. From the first 5, 1 was selected, and now the second 5, 1 has been selected as well. So far, we have 2 jurors selected to sit on this case. That is what we're getting. All right. So we've been promised a full-scale narrative by one of the lawyers as well. That's why we're here. That's why we Spoon TV. That's why we bring to you real-time information, from different sources, including legal experts as well. So from one of our sources within the court, so far, only 2 jurors have been selected, satisfactory by both the prosecution and the defense. So out of 10 persons, out of 10 prospective jurors, 8 have been disqualified, and only 2 have been passed and qualified to sit as jurors on this matter. So once they're selected as jurors, they're not going back to say, oh, we're going back our bed, we're going to do our own. No. They'll be taken down the basement here at the Temple of Justice, where they will be sequestrated. They will be kept in isolation. whatever that is needed in terms of clothes and other materials, the judicial officers are going to make sure to bring them for them so that they cannot be tainted, they cannot be corrupted. Their phones are going to be taken from them. They are going to be isolated and focused solely on this case. Sometimes you see people running away from jury duty. When they call them up, they'll give reasons as to why, but it is a civic responsibility. It's a civic duty as well. That is why when you called up to be a prospective juror on a case, you have to show up and serve your country. So from what we've gotten, only 2 persons so far have been selected out of 10 prospective jurors. So 2 to go, 2 down, and 13 to go. Because mind you, you need 12 permanent jurors and you need 3, alternative or alternating jurors as well. So far, 2 selected, Haji, and we have 13 to go. I'm trying to get the makeup of the jury. The first juror was a female, and let's see who this second person is in terms of gender.
So we inform our audience earlier of the selection of the jurors. First, we announced one just been selected, and now the breaking news here is another one has been selected. So we told you how long this trial will last, involving all the applicable laws and the technicalities when it comes to what it is to select the juror and to go through this case. So at this point, one person has been added to the juror list. So we got 2 jurors, and it will take another time to select another one because they have to be screened and examined thoroughly so that they do not come with a particular mindset to provide this service or to render this service. So they have to come with the clear understanding of not being involved in the case, having no connection to either parties or whatsoever, so that they can be clean enough and render this service. It is a difficult task to serve as juror in a murder case because you are determining that somebody committed murder, somebody is held liable for murdering another human. So that is a very difficult task. So what is clear is that when you serve as a juror, the basic thing is that after the case, you have to change location of your residence, because who knows, you might be haunted. Who knows, you might be haunted because you are making a critical decision, either to say the truth or to examine the case and bring down a verdict on somebody who might have done wrong, and the Osawa is watching. So Damon has some information from the court, but as I was speaking, he's been making some rounds from the courtroom, and we understand some information just filtered in, so Damon will give it to you in real time.
Thank you, Haji. So guys, we're doing this together. As we're providing you the coverage, we also want you to keep informing us on the audio quality. We're following as well, we're observing as well, but we also want you to let us know, keep letting us know, because once we see your comments, then we'll be able to adjust and make whatever technical tweaking that we need to carry on. All right, so just to recap, the defendants arrived around 9:30 a.m. this morning on board the corrections bus, heavily guarded by not just corrections officer, but by state police and immigration officers as well. They're forming part of the joint security. So when you hear, oh, immigration officers, are beefing up the strength of the LNP, they are part of the joint security, including the LDEA. But so far, we've not seen LDEA officers here, only officers from the police support unit and that of the Liberia Immigration Service. So when they were brought in, they were hurriedly fixed, into Criminal Court A. There was no time for family members to greet or wave or whatever it is. They were just escorted straight into Criminal Court A under security, heavy security presence or guidance, if you want to put it that way. Once they were inside of the court, they were then seated on the prisoner's bench, as we call it here in Liberia, and their handcuffs were removed because now they are in open court and they've not given any other reason as to why they should be treated with their cuffs still on their hands. They've been cooperative so far. And then the defense and prosecution teams made their representations to the judge. The lawyers, so far, we have a list, but not the entire list. We want to tell you that we've gotten some of the names updates filtering in. But for the prosecution and the defense, we just gave you some names. So the defense lawyers include Councillor Augustine Fayard, Councillor Amara Sharif, and etc. Other councils that are also intervening in this matter. For the state, we have the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Nyanti Twan, as well as Councillor Bobby Livingstone, also forming part of the prosecution team. All right, so once representations were made, both sets of lawyers engaged the judge in a confidential conversation, we were told, in a very low tone and moderate kind of conversation that wasn't to the hearing of the court, and the case was called to order. The lawyers then got involved in a order where they had to say what they had to say, strategizing and re-strategizing, and then the process of jury selection began. The first batch of 5 prospective jurors were brought to be examined and cross-examined by both sets of lawyers, and only one person qualified. That was a female. The second batch again was brought, and justice will defend on state resources, they will be housed on state resources, they are not going to have communication, looking outside words, they are just working fair and the position in these things. It is going to be not just a day or two. Criminal cases are for past.
You see the sign again.
All right, so Haji is going to tweak. He is all right, so folks, let me monitor this as well, and all right, so we are still going to keep relying on your feedbacks, and we will be giving you updates. So it's okay now. The sound is okay from what we hearing and what comments you giving as well. So from what you said, the sound is okay. I would love to tell you thank you. Keep giving us your feedbacks. Thank you. All right, let's see if we've gotten more updates on the makeup of the jury so far. We've gotten 2 persons selected to be jurors on this particular case. So we get the information. Yesterday we were informed that there's some sort of issue with network connectivity there in Criminal Court A. So we beg your indulgence that the information is going to be delayed a bit, but we're doing our best in giving you a real-time play-by-play description, if you want to call it that way, a real-time happening. We'll be giving you real-time happenings from within Criminal Court A. We're asking questions based on their demeanor of the defendants. What's their physical demeanor like? What's their posture like? Are they involved? Like in the case of the former Chief Justice, she's a lawyer. She's still a Supreme Court lawyer. She's a lawyer that has been admitted into the bar of the Supreme Court, so she can still plead. All right. All right, so there has been a twist, Haji. So I earlier told you that there were 2 jurors selected so far. So from what we've gathered, he has been disqualified. So we still stuck with only 1 juror being selected as of now. So according to the information, he was firstly accepted by the prosecuting lawyers, but later the defense raised an argument that he has a lineage, that he knows someone, he knows one of the counselors. So that makes it a conflict of interest. So he has not been accepted. Yeah, he has not been accepted. So he was previously accepted by the prosecution, but then the defense raised an argument that this prospective juror, or this person who had been selected to be a juror, has got a lineage, he's got some link, he's got some connection with one of the counselors. So he cannot be a juror on this case, because then it is going to be automatically a conflict of interest. He's going to lean on the side of his relative rather than, leaning on the side of what merits are put before him. Even though he could argue that, look, I know this person, but I'm going to render a judgment or a verdict based on the facts and circumstances thereof presented to me. But the fact that he has got some link to one of the counselors, he has been disqualified. So we're back to only 1 juror so far that has been selected, and that is a female. We're trying to get her age range, because they're not going to get her age. We just want to know what age range she's in. We want to give you details of the jury makeup as well. Yeah. So now this is the 3rd batch of 5 that has been called. So we had the first 2 batches of 5, making it 10, and only 1 person has been selected so far, after a male was selected and later found out to have, some link to one of the prosecuting lawyers. So hence, he has been withdrawn. So the 3rd batch of 5, making it 15 persons so far to come before the court and present themselves to be assessed whether or not they'll be qualified to be jurors in this case. So Haji, that is a twist. This is where jury selection is very important. You have to do your background information on names that are submitted to be prospective jurors in a case as a defense or a prosecuting lawyer, because we are a closely knitted society, but yet and still you can get people who are not linked, whether by biological lines or whether by community residence lines, or whatever means. So you as a lawyer or a team of lawyers, you have to have a research person. You have to be on top of your game. Otherwise, if you just allow people to become jurors in a case, you must tend to lose the case, Haji. Like in this case, you don't want people who've got person of interest lines, conflict of interest as well. So that guy has been disqualified according to our source. So far, only 1 person has been selected, and the 3rd batch of 5 persons have now been submitted to the court to be examined and cross-examined by both the defense and prosecution lawyers to select the jurors in this case.
So we told you how difficult it will be to get all 15 jurors in this case, 12 permanent jurors and 3 alternating jurors. So 1 juror was just selected, and later there was a little twist, and that juror, would-be juror, was denied again. So that juror, that person was again denied on the basis that he has a lineage to one of the counsels who is splitting in the case. So Spoon TV, we are still here at the grounds of Temple of Justice, and the case or the trial is taking place in Criminal Code A, where Judge Roosevelt Willie is presiding, and we have our reporter stationed there, bringing us or feeding us with all the information. And Ahmed Damon is making use of his brilliance, and he is there doing the commentary, giving you all the information or the relay from inside the courtroom. So my name is Haji Masare. We're also here with Emmanuel Davis, who is on the standby as a cameraman, and while Damo and I are actively working, so it's good to have a standby while your team is doing the work. So it seems like Damo has further information from the courtroom, and he's ready to give us the information in real time.
Thank you, Haji. This is going to be a long day from what is unfolding in the court. Remember, yesterday we started this coverage around 9 a.m. thereabout, and we ended the coverage somewhere around 3 p.m. thereabout. So that tells you that today is also going to be a lengthy day. Yeah. All right. So according to what we've gathered, the only juror that has been accepted so far is a male. It was the female who was found out to have some lineage with one of the counselors. So that's a point of correction. We are going to be making sure, and it's a middle-aged male. So we told you we want to give you the makeup of the jury because it's important as well, to give you the makeup of the jury, the gender balance of the jury, as well as the age balance as well. So what we've been told by one of our sources within Criminal Court A is that the solo juror that has been selected so far out of 10 persons that were paraded or that were brought as prospective jurors, only one person has been qualified, and is a middle-aged male. The female who was earlier qualified was found out to have some lineage, some link with one of the counselors, with one of the prosecuting lawyers. Hence, she has been disqualified. So Fabien, have you been in the court? Have you been in the court? Okay, so we want to talk to Fabien a bit once she's available. At the moment, she is also trying to get more information for us. So it's a collective effort that we engaged with here, because at the end of the day, the information does not know a particular segment of the society. They say, okay, this is for one segment of the society, this for the other segment of the society. So once we can link up with and have a collaboration with other judicial correspondents and reporters and legal luminaries and experts, then this case, which is a national interest case, not just a national, but also has got international interest. We're talking about the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. She presided over all of this from 1997 to 2003. She was the top bra, the number one. And now for her to be subjected to the gavel of the same court, this is unprecedented in our country's history. We had the issue of former Associate Justice Kabina Janet, but that wasn't, a matter that was determined by the courts. It was determined by the Senate. The Senate acted as the court, and they impeached the former Associate Justice Kabina Janet. That was a high-profile case as well, but that wasn't a criminal case. This is a criminal case, and for the magnitude, the stature, this is the highest person in the Republic of Liberia in terms of position served to be facing a murder trial of this kind. We're talking about the fourth person in authority as of the time she served as Chief Justice. The President, the Vice President, the Speaker, and then you have the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. We're talking about the former fourth most powerful person in Liberia at the time to be facing trial. She also served as Senator of Maryland County as well. One of the top officials. She served as a probate judge here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice when she began her career in the judiciary after she had graduated from the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law. She also served as a prosecutor. We gave you a biography on yesterday. Her first case was a case involving one Esther Parker, the late, who was gang raped in Bombing County, and she presided over that case as the prosecutor, and she had a guilty verdict in that particular case. So she began her prosecutorial career with a bang, and today she is now a defendant here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. So let's see if we can get you more updates coming in from Criminal Court A. So they're on the third batch of 5, making it 15 persons so far that have been presented to a court for assessment and cross-examination. And so far, only one person has been qualified. From what we've gathered, that person is a middle-aged man, and he's the only person who can be said is a juror on this matter until there might be some other issues that will be raised that might disqualify him. But as of now, he's the sole juror on this case. They're looking for 12 and 3 alternating. So 15 jurors, 12 to be permanent, and 3 persons to alternate. Okay, so Councillor Jimmy Mbombo is also a part of this case. All right. We will be striving to get you bits, pieces of information to put the whole thing together. That's Councillor Jimmy Bombo. He's also forming part of the defense team. The prosecution is headed by Councillor Yantin Tua, the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Bobby Livingstone, and all other state lawyers. So at any point in time, any other state lawyer can be intervening in this case and get on board the prosecution team, as well as any other defense lawyer can join the legal team of the former Chief Justice and the 3 other named co-defendants. So we've not gotten any updates as of yet. We are fishing for more information, but what we can tell you is, as the jury selection process is ongoing, only one person has been qualified to be a juror on this case, and that person is a middle-aged man. So a female was selected at first from the batch. The second and first batch, there were 2, but then she was disqualified due to the fact that it was established that she has got a relationship, not a, when I say a relationship now, some kind of link with one of the counselors. Just needed to make that clarity, because words, people tend to interpret words in different ways than one. So when I said a relationship, I was talking about what a link, what some kind of formal or informal relationship, but it was established that she knows one of the counselors. So information is coming in. I can see, that we're about to get a message. So it's a long one. Okay, all right. So from what we've gathered so far, one of the reasons why one of the prospective jurors was denied is the fact that they said they had knowledge on the case. The first batch that was brought in, they said they had knowledge about the case, and so the lawyers were not satisfied. And then there are 2 prospective jurors who will be determining whether or not they'll be accepted. So far only 1 person, but there are other 2. So far we're talking about 3 that has been selected, but 2 pending. That's the information we are getting. So Haji, let me confirm this information in its entirety, do some background quizzing and all of that, and I'll come and give the information. You can continue the coverage, sir.
Okay, we owe it to our viewers to bring you this coverage, but we are here at the Temple of Justice. Criminal Court 8 is where the trial is taking place, and today is day 2 of the trial. The trial began after the former Chief Justice was sent to the Central Prison, but the official trial began yesterday, going into the merit and demerit of the case. The selection process of the jurors is where we at, since they talked about jury trial. So since it is a jury trial, so this, the process of selecting the jurors is where we are, and we cannot go in there like other people have been asking whether we could take the camera in the court, but it is not possible because camera or filming in the court is prohibited. But we are stationed outside here where we have reporters positioned in the courtroom, feeding us with all the necessary information. And our man Dama is giving you the pieces of information in real time. So if you just joined us, you're watching Spoon TV. We are coming to you live from the Temple of Justice here on Capitol Hill. So this is the trial of the former Chief Justice, Her Honor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 others in the murder case with Charlotte Musu, who died on February 22nd. So we are still here outside the courtroom, but in the yards of Temple of Justice, here on Capitol Hill, giving you live coverage of the murder trial involving former Chief Justice, Her Honor Councilor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 others. So we are at the stage where the jurors are being selected, and we just told you only 1 so far have been certified to serve as juror. 1 was denied, and we have a list of 15 jurors and 12 permanent jurors and 3 alternating jurors, what we call reserve. So so far 1 has been selected. So we got a long way to go in selecting the jurors. Only 1 person has been selected. Another 1 was selected but later disqualified on the basis that she has a lineage with 1 of the councillors in the court. So Dama is still getting some information, and he will come shortly to tell you those information, pieces of information he got from the court. From the court, but the trial is taking place at the Criminal Code A here at the Temple of Justice. Do we have further information, Dama?
Yes, Haji, we have further information, and I was engaged in a conversation with some of the judicial correspondents, those who are assigned here as their permanent, beat, and we were just having a conversation surrounding why we're seeing the mass rejection of prospective jurors, and we'll get to that conversation as well. So far the update is we have 3 confirmed jurors. So far from 1, now we have 3. So 3 that have been qualified to be jurors on this matter. So from 15 persons that have been presented, 3 have been selected so far to be jurors in this matter. So we're trying to get their makeup as well out of the 3. Yeah. I'm trying to get the makeup as well, how many males and females, and their age ranges as well. We got the first juror, a middle-aged man. So the other 2 that have been added, what's their gender, and what's their age range, because we cannot determine their ages. We just want the age range as well. So the conversation we were having in the back is the fact that why are we seeing a mass rejection of prospective jurors, Haji? Let's talk about some of the reasons we're seeing a mass rejection. So one of the judicial reporters was telling me that they're asking the prospective jurors, do you know this lawyer? Do you know this this person? Do you know the Chief Justice? Do you know this judge? What do you know about the case? How much have you heard about the case? And for some reasons, we were discussing that maybe some of these prospective jurors do not want to sit on this case. So they were telling me that they've seen this happen here a lot. People will come and say they're pregnant. People will come and say, they've got some issue to attend to. People will come and say they've got some medical history. People will come and say they know this person or they know this other lawyer because they do not want to serve. They were telling me that the infamous $100 million drug case, there was a serious issue with juror selection because some people said that they just got married and they can't leave their home. Others have said they've got nobody to take care of their kids. Others said they were pregnant. Like, we're talking about being sequestrated for over 84 days, because this case might not just be resolved doing one term of court, Haji. It might just be resolved 2 to 2.5 terms of court. And you're talking about being isolated in a basement for close to 84 to 220 something days. That's about 3 months, Haji. Over 3 months or 3 to 4 months. And you're being isolated. So those who've got issues, they don't want to be involved in this case. Others might not want to be involved for security reasons, because the jurors or the jury is not going to be shielded. This is an open court case. You can come to court, you can see who are the jurors, and after a verdict is rendered, people might be thinking about retribution in whatever way, and this is a country where the issue of security is a serious concern. So you might have people not wanting to form part of the jury, and they're giving different reasons as to why they are being disqualified. But let's go to the makeup of the jurors so far that have been selected. So they are all middle-aged people. They're all middle-aged people, 2 males and 1 female. So we have so far the 3 jurors that have been selected, 2 males and 1 female, and they are all middle-aged people, Haji. So we even getting the dress code for you. According to all of our sources, the 2 males were in coat suits, and the lone female so far is wearing a long dress. When we talk about giving you details, we'll give you all of the details, the nitty-gritties as to what is unfolding there in Criminal Court A on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. We also got another unrelated information. Remember the accusation of an officer of the LDEA who allegedly shot and killed a lady in Logantown about a week ago. We've been informed that he is to be arraigned before court today. So once they arrive, we'll take our focus from on the what is happening at Criminal Court A. We'll follow up to see his arrival, as well as that. Also from the Supreme Court of Liberia, there will be 3 opinions that will be handed down. Those opinions are in the cases involving the former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Nathaniel Fallow McGill, who's contesting in Margibi County as the CDC's senatorial candidate. His domicile has been questioned, as well as Senator Milton Tieje. His domicile has been questioned, and another individual known as Original Countryman, his domicile has been questioned as well. So the Supreme Court of Liberia will be handing down its opinion in those 3 separate cases as well. So this is the Temple of Justice, where a lot of different legal cases are ongoing, but the highest profile case that is currently being heard is happening there in Criminal Court A, and that is the case that involves the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott. So Haji, I'm going to leave you to it for a while as I go and fish for more information and speak to more experts, and will bring their opinions as well on board.
All right, Damon. Thanks so much. We will continue from here, but what we can tell you is that 3 persons have been certified and qualified to serve as jurors in this landmark murder trial here at the Temple of Justice ground. And the case is taking place at Criminal Court A, involving former Chief Justice Gloria Musu Scott and 3 others. So it's a landmark case, with one high-profile person involved. So at this stage, it is the juror selection process, and 3 persons have been qualified to serve as juror. So we are still waiting for the rest to make up of the 12 jurors, 15 in total, but 12 jurors will be seated, and 3 will be like standby. So keep watching Spoon TV. We are dishing out Liberia's best, and all we can tell you is that we will remain stationed here and bring you all the happenings as it unfolds there in the courtroom, because we have our reporter there stationed, and we have all other sprinklers in the court feeding us with information, and we are here giving it to you real time. So don't you go away. This is the broadcast that entails a whole day, as long as the trial continues for the day in the court. So we will remain here to bring you all the information, and our reporters are stationed in there will continue to feed us with the information. So this is the court. So you got other accused being arranged before the court. You just saw 2 men in handcuffs being escorted by an officer, and they are being taken to the Monrovia City Court. But Damon has gone there to get further information. He will come and tell us who are those 2 persons in handcuffs being taken to the Monrovia City Court. But the murder trial is taking place at the Criminal Court A, where Judge Roosevelt Woody is presiding at the moment, and this is a landmark case involving the former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott. So we are here, though we've been pushed in the corner, but we are not deterred by whatever it is, because security presence and the guys here are telling us the place needs to be clear, and we agree to that. So we have to position ourselves in this space provided, so that we don't come across the security officer. So you just saw 2 persons in handcuffs being arranged before the Monrovia City Court. So our Madama has gone there to get further information as it relates to those guys in the handcuff. But we are bringing you this live coverage involving the murder trial here on Capitol Hill at the Temple of Justice. And Damo just told you that other opinions will be handed down today in 3 separate cases. One has to do with the domicile case with Nathaniel McGill. That will be at the Supreme Court. There you can see in the background there with the court officer standing, a lady standing at the entrance. Then Milton Terje, also a domicile case in that opinion from the Supreme Court will be handed down also. Then we got Countryman, who is also contesting in District 11 or District 13. So a domicile case also that opinion will be handed down here by the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court has made it clear that it will focus on election-related matters. Election-related matters, and it's important because as we get towards the October elections, there will be more cases relating to election issues. So the Supreme Court will focus its attention on issues arising from election dispute or infringement as it relates to election issues and all of that. So the Supreme Court will resume on the second, I'm told, and as the fourth bench resumes on the 2nd of October, it will heavily be looking into election dispute. You remember, we'll be going to election on the 10th of October, and there is high possibility that the presidential elections will go into runoff, and so the Supreme Court will remain open to hear election dispute cases. So that's why it is. But the trial at Criminal Code A involving the former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria, Musu Scott, and 3 others is still ongoing. More information will continue to come as the two sides make argument. But right now, we are at a place, as a position where the jurors are being selected. So far, 3 jurors have been selected, and the process is still on to select the jurors. The process is still on to select the jurors. So as soon as as all 12 and so to speak the 15 are selected, then the trial will continue from the argument stage. So, but right about now is the process of selecting the jurors, and we are, as the information we got so far, only 3. So Dama is still sorting out some information from the courtroom. He will tell you at what stage we are now, but I bet when he comes back, we will get further information as to the number of jurors we've gotten so far. So right about now, only 3 jurors being certified and selected for this process. So we've been left with the rest to make up of the number of 15. But you will have 12 permanent jurors, and the 3 will be alternated. So let's just pin our camera around to show you the courtyard. You see just little presence of people, and the presence of these people tells you that some of them are here for court matter, while some are journalists. Like in other cases where, particularly political cases where the Temple of Justice will be crowded with supporters. Most of those supporters chant battle cry or so, but this is a criminal case, and it does not need, supporters. It does not need people chanting battle cry or so. So this is a criminal matter. This is a murder trial that is taking place. This is a sensitive issue like any other case or cases. So we will have to have the place clear for of noise and distraction. and distraction. So we will continue with the coverage here. We will continue with the coverage here. Damon is still filtering out some information. The information is coming. So pretty soon, Damon, just in the JFIC, Damon will be here to tell you at what stage we are, how many jurors have been selected. But as we were on this live, we saw two persons in handcuffs, two gentlemen being arranged before the Monrovia City Court. So Damon is back to tell us who are those two persons and why are they in handcuffs and being escorted by an officer. So Damon will come shortly in a jiffy to tell us, to give us some details about that event. And as we told you earlier, Nathaniel Mangeo, Milton TRJ, and Countryman, that cases are before the Supreme Court relating to domicile issue in Margibi, Sano, and Mansorado. So those are the three cases at the before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is about to give its opinion on those three cases today. So like Damon told you, we'll switch our attention to that side and give you some pieces of information there. But Damon is here to tell us, one, those two persons in the handcuff, who are they? Why are they in handcuff? What are their various crimes? Or are they together in a crimes commission? And what is the latest from Criminal Code A?
Thank you, Haji. This is the longest because we had to get more information. A lot of cases going on. Gary Newton, Rebecca Julia Whistler, and Alice Johnson. So to give updates on that case, which is our primary focus, and then we can divert to other happenings here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. So additional female juror has been added. So that means 4 jurors have now been qualified. So now we have 2 males and 2 females.
They are telling on no volume again.
Alright, so whilst we are checking that, let me check the sound quality here from my end as well. Let me check the sound quality from my end as well. So please be giving your feedbacks as we are trying to make sure we bring you all of the best sound quality and what's happening on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. So the sound is okay. For now, the sound is okay. I'm listening to it. So folks, thank you for your feedback. Thank you for giving us your feedback. We have sorted that out. So we're looking for your feedback as well to let us know that the feedback, the sound quality is good. So Dete Colley says good. Durato Kula says better now. Logan Christiana says is good as well. Thank you folks. That is why we depend on each other doing this coverage, because without your feedbacks we do not know what is unfolding. All right, so there is also a technical switch at the back, so Haji needs to take a rest, a well-deserved rest as well. He's been standing since 10 a.m. this morning. So Emmanuel has been rested enough, so Haji is going to take at least 1 to 2 hours of break and let Emmanuel do the camera work for now. All right, so just to give you feedback, updates on the Gloria Musu Scat case as well. So far, there are 4 jurors that have been qualified after 20 prospective, juror candidates were presented before the courts. So out of the 4 jurors that have been selected, you have 2 males in their middle age and 2 females in their middle age as well. So you have 4 jurors that have been qualified to form the 15-man jury. 12 will be permanent jurors and 3 will be alternating jurors as well. So 4 out of the 15 have been qualified, and the next set of 5 prospective jurors have been submitted before the court, before the lawyers, that is the defense and the prosecution lawyers, to cross-examine them to see whether or not they are going to be qualified. Again, additional information according to one of our sources within Criminal Code 8, they've counted 9 defense lawyers. So 9 lawyers have been counted in open court representing the former Chief Justice and 3 other co-defendants. And they've also counted 4 prosecuting lawyers. So the ratio is 9:4 right now in Criminal Code 8, with the former Chief Justice and 3 other co-defendants having 9 lawyers representing them as of now, and the state being represented by 4 lawyers, including the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Nyanti Twan. So that's from the Gloria Musu case. That is the update. So jury selection is still ongoing according to one of our sources within the court. Their demeanor, that is the defendant's demeanor, is for one that is in high spirits. They're still conversing while the lawyers are doing what they have to do. Now, to the other cases happening here, we all do know that there was a case of reportedly a lady in the Logantown community was shot allegedly by an officer of the LDA, the guy you saw wearing the gray shirt. 2 guys that were handcuffed. The one in the gray shirt is the LDA officer, and we will give you full details of that story. The case has not been called yet at the Monrovia City Court, where they will read out his charges, and he will be sent. If his lawyers can secure bail for him, they can secure bail bond. But what we've heard is that he has not been charged with murder, but rather manslaughter. But we haven't gotten a hold of the charge sheet yet. We did speak to the victim family members as well. They are willing to talk to us here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice to give us their own narrative of what allegedly happened and how come their daughter was shot. So we'll bring you all of these stories as well from the Supreme Court of Liberia. The Supreme Court is to give ruling in 3 high-profile cases today involving the political future of 3 candidates vying to be elected. So we have Senator Milton Tiaje, former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Nathaniel Falo McGill, and another individual known as original countryman. I was able to get his first name as Thomas. I'm still trying to get his full name. Those cases are to be, verdicts are to be rendered today by the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia. So again, the police officers have not gotten so much work to do today. They just, laid back in conversations. There's not so much of any tension so far. There's been no tension whatsoever here since the trial of the former Chief Justice began. Though there's a police presence here, or a presence of the joint security, but there's not been any commotion at all. All right. So we'll keep bringing you updates from the Temple of Justice involving the case, that's Criminal Code A, the case involving the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, that's Councillor Gloria Musu. Why? Yeah. Only essentially should be recording here. When we came, we made it known to the judicial office that our assigned reporter is incapacitated, so they have to inform you. So, what's the top bright fellow? I think he's the assistant or something like that. So we came here, we told him, and said our assigned reporter is incapacitated at the moment, and we are here to cover the story. So, as we are, yeah, man, what did I need?
I don't want to see them because we were not informed.
Peanut. So we informed him. So what I want to know here is,
Peanut is not here for this list.
my sister, we have informed Peanut. He was the one who brought the issue first. You understand? So we came and told him that we are here. If for any reason you have any issue to come and tell us to cut our life off, that is being disrespectful to us as well. It's not an insult. We are doing a piece of job. If you have anything to say, you say, oh, excuse me, let me talk with you on the side. You just don't come and say, oh, we should just cut the life off. You can't do that.
Yeah, sorry. But then you know, follow your own.
That's what you should do. We talk to Peanut. Hey, you understand? We talk to Peanut. So you can find Peanut. I don't know where he is.
I will not tell you, officer, that Peanut is not the hair yet. He should off the camera because he's not a son yet. He usually come here saying things. Yeah,
saying things as
Why? But we can get Peanut.
Peanut is not the hair yet.
But we won't talk to him.
Peanut, they're not giving instruction or all my consent. That's
so my thing is, let you reach out to Peanut, but we cannot cut the camera off. We cannot cut the camera off. We cannot cut the camera off. We can't cut the camera off. We can cut it off. Yeah, thank you. So let them go harmonize. You have to respect your police as well. You know, when we came on this ground, we firstly inform everybody. We move with Fabin, we move with everybody. We talk with you. So if to have respect for your colleagues, you know, you come in the corner and say, "Oh, but you telling us to cut our life off."
Not to record yet.
What's that? In the head we agree, but you have to give your colleagues courtesy and respect. You just come there. What's that?
The thing is,
even in the head, how you can't disrespect people? You are national media as well. Are we making confusion?
So you yourself, what you did there, you went to
we are not.
I don't mean that.
Yeah, you are to
Nobody does not have jurisdiction on reporting from here. She does. So là, il y a ça pour faire le dossier. Et là, chez nous en fonction, hein.
That's what I found common ground, Babi. Yeah,
it's not a common ground. She's a journalist. She's a journalist. We are journalists. How you call it? It's now here. No, but I didn't expect her to report us. I report to have problem with us. Yeah, we're just surprised that she came off completely. That's obviously. Yeah. Well, just let me came off completely.
As well. So folks, this letter is all right, we're trying to check the sound. We are trying to check the sound. All right, folks, please let us know the quality of the audio. We are trying to make sure that we bring you good quality audio. So, all right, so the audio quality is good. Let's see if we can bring you more updates from the grounds of the Temple of Justice. This is Spoon TV. My name is Diamond Slanger. As we said, we're following the case of Councillor Gloria Musu Scott and 3 other co-defendants, that is Gertrude Newton, Alice Johnson, and Rebecca Ude Wisner. So once we get more updates from the court, that is Criminal Court A, we'll bring you up to speed with what is happening. So far, 4 jurors have been selected from 20 prospective jurors who were submitted to the court, and they were quizzed, by the defense and prosecution teams. And so far, only 4 persons have been qualified as jurors to sit on this particular case. So another batch again of prospective jurors have been called forward, and they are currently being quizzed by both the defense and prosecution teams. The time here in Liberia is 2 minutes up to 12 p.m. and the jury selection, that is day 2 of the trial involving the former Chief Justice Councilor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 other co-defendants. This is the second day since this case was called to trial, and the first day of the trial was on yesterday, where the prosecution stroke movements have filed for a motion for the relocation of the trial venue, and that was denied by the judge, Judge Roosevelt Willie. The defense had also filed a motion for a reautopsy and the revisitation of the crime scene. That again was denied by the judge. And then on yesterday, jury selection had begun, but it was met with some disagreements by the lawyers, and hence it was pushed to today. As of when the jury selection began, only 4 jurors have been selected so far. So let's see if we can give you more updates from the courts. So the charges against the former Chief Justice and the 3 other co-defendants include murder, criminal conspiracy, and making false statements to law enforcement officials. So those are the charges. All right, so let's see if we can give you more updates. All right, so the latest is the second batch of that's the 5th batch. The 5th batch of prospective jurors are being quizzed by the both sets of lawyers. So Chalo Musu, all of this began on the 22nd of February 2023 at the Broadview residence of the former Chief Justice Councilor Gloria Musu Scott, where she then had reported to law enforcement agents and officers that her home was allegedly broken into by an alleged assailant, and in the process, her daughter Chalo Musu was stabbed multiple times and she lost her life. So we'll continue to bring you updates from the grounds of the Temple of Justice, and as this all-important case is unfolding, this case is very, very important. It's a case of national interest as well, and this case is not just of national interest, it is also of international interest, and there's been so much interest in this particular case. So I'll leave Haji to do the commentary, and let's go and see how we can solve this.
Okay, thank you, Damon. We had a little altercation with one of the judicial reporters, but Damon is going to sort it out in the office of the communication director. But like Damon clearly told you, we are having this trial going on at Criminal Code A involving the former Chief Justice, Councilor Gloria Musu Scott, and 3 others. And we told you the number of jurors that have been selected so far. And with other cases that are already taking place at the Supreme Court, we got 3 domicile cases taking place at the Supreme Court, or very opinions supposed to be brought down in those cases. So one is Nathaniel McGill, 2 Milton Tiaje, 3 countrymen. So there are 3 cases. We don't know whether that case has commenced, but all we know is that an opinion is supposed to be rendered in those cases today. Then our main focus is the case, the murder trial involving Councilor Gloria Musu Scott is taking place, and we have our reporter stationed in feeding us with all the information, and Damon has been giving you the information as it relates to what is happening in the main court, that's criminal code A, and all activities that are taking place here. Like you saw, 2 persons being arranged before the Monrovia City Court, and Damo just told you who are those 2 persons. But it's a bit rainy here. Since this morning, the weather wasn't okay, and we're experiencing downpour of rain. And we saw the arrival of the Chief Justice, and earlier when the Chief Justice came, we were asked to push back a bit, and that was necessary because you have people standing all over, and so as the case continues, you have people coming, supporters, people in solidarity with Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, but the court officers have told them clearly that they don't want the place crowded up, and so you saw some people leaving, and with the presence of the security officers of the Liberian National Police, the Immigration Service, they are here giving us maximum security here on the grounds of the Supreme Court or Temple of Justice. So the case continued at the Criminal Code A, where the trial is taking place. So we got 3 so far, 3 jurors so far being accepted. So we stay to see the selection of more jurors to make up of 12 jurors and 3 more to be on standby. Like Damon told you, this process will continue until all 12 jurors are selected. Until they are selected, the main argument into the case will not start until, because the entire case is involved. It's not a full bench case, but a juror trial. So a jury trial means that we have to have all the jurors selected before we can go through the full argument of the case. So it's all good here. We are stationed outside the main court, but the case is taking place at the Criminal Code A, where the trial is taking place, and our reporter is there giving us the information. Damon has gone to the Director of Communication Office because we have a little altercation with some judicial reporters asking us to leave. For what reason, we don't know, but they are telling us also that we are not assigned reporters here at the judiciary. But remember, Spoon TV, Spoon FM does have Aaron Talu as our assigned reporter. He is in the court also. So this is normal, where when landmark case is taking place, you have the interest of the media, and the media have to come and give the public real-time information. So you don't expect only a particular assigned reporter to come and cover this case. You have all the journalists coming to cover this case. So our police here need to understand, like you are seeing all of reporters coming from other media entities. They are not assigned here, but you will see them coming because this is a landmark case. This has so much public interest. So you'll see journalists coming to cover this case. So we don't know for what reason our colleagues here are telling us not to provide coverage. But we don't know the motive behind their reason, but that's what it is. But we are here to give the coverage, to bring you this coverage involving the murder trial of former Chief Justice Councillor Gloria Musu Scott. So Damon, as I told you, has gone to the Communication Director Office, and they have started us for further, questioning. So Damon has gone there to answer some questions and give some information why we should have this coverage, why we should be here, why this trial is going on. Like I told you, all our journalists are here, so more journalists will come to provide coverage. So we see no reason why our colleague will ask us to cut off our life or to stop providing coverage here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. So we are experiencing rain here today. So though it is a rainy season, but yesterday was a bit okay. The day before, like the weekend, was okay with the weather. But today is Tuesday and we are experiencing rain. Yeah, that's nature. That's nature. But it won't stop our work because we are under this roof and it's giving us a bit of shelter. So our colleague Damon will soon be back in Javik to provide more information because he is receiving the information from our reporter in the courtroom. He is receiving the information. He is in direct contact with our reporter there. Our reporter is giving him the information as it unfolds. So we told you 3 jurors were certified and selected so far. So this is the juror process. The selection of the juror process is where we are. So as soon as the 12 jurors are selected, in total it will be 5 jurors, 3 permanent jurors, and 12 permanent jurors, then 3 standby jurors will be selected. So we told you the jurors, when selected, they have to be confined in isolation, no contact from the outside world because of the nature of the case. The first juror selected said he does not have any knowledge about the case, no connection with whosoever involved in the case. So on that basis, he was selected. The second person being selected was questioned, and the person stated that though they did not have connection to anybody, but after being selected, but she was later disqualified because the defendant said, or the defense counsel said, she has some lineage with one of the lawyers or the prosecuting lawyers, so she was disqualified. So 3 so far have been selected. It's a bit breezy here, so we don't know whether the breeze is embarrassing the microphone, but if the audio is okay, you can tell us the audio is okay. Yes, we're receiving signal that the audio is okay. So keep watching Spoon TV. We are dishing out Liberia best. We are having a long day coverage of the murder trial involving former Chief Justice Councilor Gloria Musu Scott and 3 other persons. So there are 4 in connection to the death of their relative, Charlotte Musu. It's what we know so far. So the information will come. The case is ongoing. Our reporter is feeding us with information from the court. Damo is in direct contact with our source in the courtroom and other sources that are feeding us with information. So as soon as Damo comes back, he will be telling you, the viewers, the number of jurors that have been selected so far, the number of jurors that have been selected so far, what we know about the case, what other information we have on hand. Damon will be telling you that because he has direct information with our reporters reporters in the courtroom and other sprinkler we have stationed there. So it's a bit rainy here. We are experiencing serious downpour of rain at the moment. So you will see people who have been standing, who have been past standing, they will have to come under the shelter, so you get in the place a little park. We hope the security officers wouldn't have problem with people standing here because obviously it's rainy. You won't expect them to go, into the rain to, stand, to go in the rain and stand to watch. So they will have to come in the roof. So we told you about the security presence. Yes, we do have security presence, and security presence will be beefed up here as the case progresses. As the case progresses, you will have the security presence beefed up, because the intensity will grow. The intensity will grow. So you will have more security officers being added. So okay, so one of the judicial reporters who is covering the trial, we want to question a bit, but he will come back to tell us what he witnessed in the courtroom. We also have Fabien Koya. Fabien, we would like to talk to Fabien, but Fabien is also monitoring other cases here. But we want to get their expertise on the coverage of of different set of trials here. So it's all good. We are still here having this coverage. The landmark case involving the murder trial, involving the former Chief Justice Councilor Gloria Musu Scott and 3 others. So we expect to have more information from the court. Our man Damo is here. So we have one of the judicial reporter who is covering this trial and other cases. He is an assigned judicial reporter here. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Haji.
Okay, so can I know your full name, sir?
My name is G. Watson Riches.
Okay. So Watson, you are covering the murder trial. What do you know so far? How far we are? Bring us to speed with what is happening in the courtroom.
Well, the court is ready on the selection of the jurors. Right now we are on the selection of the jurors, and then the matter has already been suspended up to Thursday. We're going to resume with the hearing or the selection of the juror on Thursday.
So how many jurors have been selected so far?
So far they have selected 6 jurors, and then they are going to be sequestrated today, meaning they're going to keep them underground for safeguard or protection until they can complete the entire panel of the 15-member jurors.
So we talk about 15 members jurors. Do we know that 12 will be permanent and the 3 will be on standby, or how do you present that?
Well, 12 persons are going to serve on the panel, while 3 is going to be on the standby for any eventuality. Maybe someone will get sick in the process, so they can be replaced by the 3 that will be on the standby.
So you said so far where we are is that the case has been suspended and will resume Thursday?
For now, the judge has mandated the juror management to go in the street of Monrovia to find prospective jurors so that they can come to be selected and subsequently qualified to serve on the 15-member panel.
So what's your understanding about the selection of jurors? Who do you think jurors are supposed to be?
Well, jurors are expected to be neutral people who don't have side within the case. So they are, if you are to be a juror, you have to be neutral. You don't have to have side within the case. The judicial law provides that in order to be selected as a juror, there are certain criteria that you should have. Or if you are unqualified to be a juror, there are also certain criteria that can disqualify you to not be selected as a juror. And among those qualifications are In order for you to not be qualified as a juror, they say either you cannot read or write, or you are relative to either the defendants or that of the lawyers that are involved in the case.
So they makes you disqualified.
They disqualify you. Okay. Once you have relationship with the lawyers or the people, let's say the defendants, you have relationship with the lawyer or the defendants, automatically you are disqualified to serve on the juror. And another thing is that,
So what qualifies you?
well, like I stated earlier on, you have to be neutral.
Okay.
You have to be some
neutral. Read and write.
You should be able to read and write. And you should be able to just have an independent mind. You should have an independent mind in whatsoever decision you are going to make in the case.
Okay. So, for what you monitor so far in the selection of the juror, we understand that some people were disqualified because of lineage and other issues that don't qualify them. What do you know so far about that?
So I think the major reason that most of these people were disqualified was just they have heard the matter on radio, either radio, social media, because this murder case, the individual, one of the accused or one of the defendants in the murder case is a permanent individual, the former Chief Justice. So this matter has been discussed widely on media at large. So you find out that people have listened to this case and they have discussed this matter in various quarters. So the lawyer will place a question to you if you have heard of the case. If you say yes, it provides that you can be disqualified because you as a juror, you are not to discuss this matter before coming to serve as a juror, right? These are some of the things that they were disqualified on.
So it is possible to have somebody who may have not heard about the case in any other form and manner.
Hearing about the case is one thing.
Okay.
So people are not being disqualified because they have heard a case.
Okay.
No. Some of them have heard a case, but they don't have any idea. But some of them heard a case and then they went ahead to discuss the merit of the case. And you are not to discuss the merit of the case as a juror. So once you discuss the merit of the case as a juror, automatically you are disqualified.
So Thursday when we come back, what will be happening?
Well, the scene selection process is going to be taking place. They're going to be calling on the jurors and then for them to be vetted by the both parties, the defending team and that of the prosecuting team. They are going to be quizzed by them.
So when the jurors are selected, so who bring forth the jurors and how are they qualified? Can we say both parties have to agree to set a fashion that okay, these people can serve?
Yeah, both parties have to agree. And even if you are disqualifying someone not to serve as a juror, you have to do that based on cause.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just disqualify somebody based on what you heard or what you feel, but you have to disqualify them based on cause as per the proceeding of the jury law. So you can just disqualify any other person like that. You have to disqualify them based on the law.
You are a judicial reporter. If we conclude this issue of jury selection, what stage will we be entering into in this particular case?
So after the selection of the jury, they are going to be qualified to serve on the panel. And when they are qualified on the panel, the next thing we're going to see is that the production of witnesses. That's the next stage.
So meaning I will be entering into argument?
Argument, no. You have to follow step by step. First, you have to produce witnesses. Okay. The witnesses, you produce witnesses to serve on the panel, right? The production of witnesses. So after that, the argument will start taking place now.
Okay. After the production of witnesses, then you will have to enter into the argument stage.
Yeah.
Okay. So after the argument stage, what next?
Well, the jury had to look at the file, they had to present the entire case file to the jury, and then they will go in their own deliberation room to decide whether this person will be found guilty or not guilty. That will be done in the deliberation room.
You think how long such a case can last for?
Normally we see such cases last or longer. Last longer. Let's take for instance the drug case that we had here before.
Yeah.
So that drug case lasted for 8 months.
Okay.
It lasted for 8 months, depending on the both parties' lawyers, because there will be some delay tactics along the way. People will be filing some motions. People will be filing other stuff. So based on the proceeding, the case may be fast tracked. But if people are just filing in some motions, it will cause delay within the case.
Okay. So you think the case can take up to 1 year?
Like as I stated, depending on the processes.
Yeah.
Because
If
if
there will be motion filed,
there will be motion filed,
and the
motion-
motion will be tried, tested,
you have
and
to test the motion, you have to go for hearing of that motion. So all of these things that will be causing delay within the process. And as time goes by, the case will just be dragging. So we want to look, it will cause a lot of stuff. And sometimes what causes the delay, sometimes the production of witnesses as well. Right? The production of witnesses will cause a lot of delay.
So this is a case. I'm sorry, I'm not holding you hostage. You are doing your work, but it's important for you to explain this to the people all around the world. Yes, there are people who don't have clue to this particular case. There are some people who have little understanding about the case. You are helping them provide the information. Now, with what you understood so far, you saw the former Chief Justice coming. Can you tell us her well-being, though you are not a medical practitioner, can you tell us how her physical morphology is? Can you tell us some of the how you call some of the defendants, how are they being presented?
Well, as she stated, I'm not a medical practitioner to state the well-being of the former Chief Justice. But you and I know that as per her appearance, she doesn't seem to be well. Right? She doesn't seem to be well. And at one point in time, we heard that she had some problem that she needed some treatment, medical attention. But I cannot independently state that whether she is well or she is not well. I cannot prove that. But we see her appearance, I can state that she doesn't appear very well. She doesn't appear very well. In this case, it's highly emotional.
Okay.
Yeah, it's highly emotional, and you can feel the sentiments within the case, right? People are highly connected to the Chief Justice, and you can see the euphoria within the whole case. They put the security, and how you call it, tightening, everything is just. So the lot of sentiments and the emotions surrounding the case is too high.
That's what brings me to the question on the selection of the juror. It will be difficult to select the required juror for the case because this case has been discussed, across the country. People have discussed this case one way or the other. So to select a juror, or jurors, in this particular matter, where on the basis that they have not discussed the case, they have not heard about the case, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult though. It's difficult, but we're getting there. We are gradually getting there. For the fact that they have selected 6 persons, that means we are getting there. I think they are left with 9 more people, right? 9 more persons to be selected. So let's see on Thursday when we come on Thursday. Apparently, they might select all of the 9 individuals that are expected to be selected, so that they can just start one and for all.
What sort of argument you think the defense or the prosecution will be putting up in this particular case?
Their argument will be they had to prove the murder charge beyond all reasonable doubt.
And that is a difficult thing to do because there is no CCTV footage. You will produce witnesses as a prosecution. So who are those witnesses the prosecution will bring forward?
Yeah, I don't know right now, right? They have their own witnesses. For the fact that they charge these 4 defendants with murder, it means they have sufficient evidence to prosecute them. So let's wait and see who will be the witnesses. But until then, you and I cannot decide for them.
Okay, any party comment? I want to take leave of you. It seems like I'm holding you hostage.
No, you are not holding me hostage. This is what we stand up to inform the Liberian people about happenings at the judiciary. So we are looking up to Thursday for the selection of the prospective juror. So thank you for having me on your platform.
Thank you again. What's the name?
Watson Riches.
Okay, Mr. Richard, thank you so much. My colleague here at the Temple of Justice, here providing us information. So the former Chief Justice will be coming out at any moment to be escorted back to the Monrovia Central Prison. So already we are seeing our family members and onlookers here being positioned. The bus will come. So I think they have sent for the bus already because we are seeing the court officers and the prison guys also. So as soon as the bus arrives, then of course the 4 defendants will be taken back to the Monrovia Central Prison. So we can see some lawyers standing by, looking. These are people who were in the courtroom. You can see some family members way at the glass window there, and some supporters as well. But the bus will soon arrive here. As soon as the bus arrives, the former Chief Justice will end her, all of 3 defendants in the case will be taken back to the Monrovia Central Prison. But it's raining here. It's raining. We are experiencing a complete downpour of rain. So certainly it won't deter or stop our work, but we will continue with the coverage. So it seems like Dama is in a long hall of meeting. Communication office.
Chilo play. Chilo. That will leave the area one. That leaving when I go have some conversation with Chilo play.
Quality give our reception report. It seems like we are experiencing a bit of bad quality, so you can tell us the quality of our audio, because we are here to serve you better. We are here to serve you better. So tell us the quality of the audio, then we can continue the conversation from here. So you have to tell us the audio quality. You have to tell us the audio quality. We stay
we have some lawyers coming out. Okay, we have some lawyers coming out. We have some family members. You want to speak to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there were other jurors, persons being denied. On what basis you deny some jurors?
No, we don't want to enter into that. It's purely legal, and so the facts as provided to you are sufficient. And what we can say is that the process is ongoing.
So how is your client?
She appears to be good, except that she's now in her comfort zone. You're most welcome, and Anthony Newman Tosa Dixon Raymond Tamba.
Thank you, Mr. Tama.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Tama, one of the defense counsel. Okay, we stay experiencing no sound, so you have to tell us the quality of our audio, please. You have to imagine you let to take the receiver or and put it back.
Not going through. Let me try again.
Okay, tell us the audio quality. Okay, so it's good now. Yes, this is what we have, and we are making use of what we have. So family members are here. Like we talked to Mr. Tama. He works with the counselor law firm here in Monrovia also, and he also providing legal service to the counselor in this particular case. This is the murder trial of former Chief Justice and the three others defendants in the case back to the prison compound. But until then, I don't know, because it's raining or they are hearing that outside here. Riot police already here to give us maximum protection, to provide maximum protection of the facilities because of the nature of the case. Like one of the judicial reporters told you, this case is very sensitive, so you have security being beefed up as the case progressive. So we will talk to our reporter who is still in the courtroom. He has not come out yet. We will talk to him, but yet Damon is in direct contact with our reporter. He is the one in direct contact with our reporter, getting all the information from our reporter there. So we are here stationed outside while our reporter is in there giving us the information. Like I told you, Damon is in direct contact with our reporter. Information broadcast, but we are stationed here. We will be here on Thursday. Remember, we will follow the case. We follow the case from the genesis, and we will make sure we end with this case and we get to the logical conclusion. That's why we are. That's why we are paid for a Spoon Network, and we always dishing out Liberia's best. This facility will keep the life because we want to give you all the information, we want to give you all the happenings here. Go away from the land, keep watching. We will give you all the happenings here. Thursday we will be here again with information related to this case. Thursday we will be here, so just keep watching TV. Emmanuel, have you heard from Ghana? Why is he taking long in the director office?
I haven't. I told Sylvester Choroblo to place a call to him. I'm behind camera so I can actually talk to him.
So we are not getting Damon was sent for was escorted with security to the communication office. So we trying to place call to Damon, and we keep calling direct instead of calling through WhatsApp. We are not getting
Children,
So
you don't have to carry it from here.
So we are not getting Diamond, so we want to place a call to Diamond. Why is he taking long in that meeting with the communication officer? So we are yet to hear from him. It has taken more than 20 minutes since he left. But we are making connection with Diamond to ask him why he is still in there with the communication officer of the judiciary. So we are still awaiting the bus that will take the former Chief Justice back to the Monrovia Central Prison. So if you are watching, we say keep following Spoon TV. We are making connection with our lead here, Damo Slanga, who was sent for by the communication officer of the judiciary. So it is Darius Ambrose Mann. He's the director of communications here. So Diamond was sent for, and some security officers, that's a code security, and escorted him to the director's office. So Diamond is yet to come back after 20 minutes now gone so far, and but we are calling him to find out why is he taking that long, or has he gone on other errand to get some information to give it to our viewers. So we will see. So we are getting sound that the bus will soon arrive. We are getting sound that the bus will soon arrive, but as soon as that happens, we will see the former Chief Justice coming out of the Criminal Code A here at the Temple of Justice. So that's why we are positioned this way, because we want to show to you the entry point to the bus. So there you see family members. So you can see family members positioned there. You want to wave goodbye to the former Chief Justice. They want to wave goodbye to the former Chief Justice. So they are positioned. Okay, so this time it is not the bus. It is this correction pickup or Land Cruiser that and Damo will let to tell us sorry about that. It's a bit of cool. So Damo is back. He will explain to you why he took that long, almost 30 minutes in our meeting. So we are awaiting the arrival from the court. The former Chief Justice, Council of Gloria, Musu, started the orders to get onto the Nankuton to go back to the Central Prison. But Damo is back. Damo is coming to his orders.
Thank you, Haji. Thank you again for holding down the 4 hours away. We also got last for on Thursday, 9 o'clock, today's election will continue. So there's some
have 6 now. Yes, so we have 6 jurors in total. So it's left with 8 for the permanent, and then 3 we have 6 for the permanent, and then 3 for the body. So we left with 9 jurors to be selected. Because
there were over 30 persons that were presented for as prospective jurors, and only 6 were selected for various reasons. So we have to find another position as the vehicle is trying to turn. So this is day 2. We have to put ourselves somewhere for this pickup to turn. This pickup is replacing the bus for now. The bus usually was the vehicle that brought the former Chief Justice this morning, but they are now turning to a pickup that also belongs to the Bureau of Corrections. So we will keep giving you updates on this case. This morning at about 9:45 a.m. this morning, 9:30, 9:45 a.m. this morning, the former Chief Justice and the 3 other co-defendants arrived here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, where today marks day 2 of the trial, the criminal trial involving the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, Gertrude Neutron, you there, Rebecca, you there, Wisner. So let's see if we can speak to one of the counsels quickly while we're waiting for the former Chief Justice and the 3 other co-defendants to exit Criminal Court A. Thank you for speaking with us, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
What is the latest update from Criminal Court A? I know you're not going to give us in-depth, but can you just give us an overview?
Nothing much except that the jury pooling is still ongoing, and so far so good. We selected 6 today, and we'll continue the process Thursday.
What were some of the reasons? Over 30 prospective jurors were presented and only 6 were selected. What were some of the reasons for that disqualification?
Well, several other reasons. But I mean, I think you're...
Yeah, so just 1 minute, sir. So the former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, there she's being put in the pickup. So the entry, old lady Rebecca, Yuda Wisner, Gertrude Newton, Alice Johnson, and Councillor Gloria Musu Scott. So they are being bundled in the Bureau of Corrections vehicle, and they are being taken away back to the Monrovia Central Prison by corrections officers who are getting in the bucket of the pickup, and they're making their way back to the Monrovia Central Prison. This trial will continue on Thursday. As well, family members are standing by, heavy security presence as well, making sure they escort the pickup out of the grounds of the Temple of Justice. So folks, this is day number 2, and the former Chief Justice and the 3 other co-defendants have been taken back to the Monrovia Central Prison, where they will continue to serve pre-trial detention during the entirety of this trial. A criminal trial lasts for 42 days. That's a term of court here in Liberia, and let's see if we can talk back, have our conversation, continue our conversation. So Chief, thank you again for availing yourself. We want to know some of the reasons why some of those jurors were not qualified to serve on some of those prospective jurors were not qualified to be on this case.
Just obvious reasons, which include relationship is a key factor, not necessarily with the defendants, but even the lawyers. So for example, if somebody knows me, one of the potential jurors, if the person knows me personally, the person cannot serve. some of the questions were asking, do you know any of the lawyers from both sides? So it matters, relationship, because based upon that, people may form opinion. So you need people who are objective, with all prejudices. You know.
Okay. So you had over 30 persons that were presented today, and you were only able to have selected 6. Looking at this process, what do you think this jury selection is going to be done with to go into the actual hearing?
Well, it depends. It's not something to tell you in a particular time. But we resume the vote on Thursday. Thursday will be here again to go through the same process until we can get a number. So far we have gotten 6 out of the 15 persons. So we continue on Thursday to see whether we can get a number.
Okay, sorry, your name?
Anthony Dubo.
Okay, so Anthony Dubo is also part of the defense team as well, representing the former Chief Justice, Councilor Gloria Musu Scott. So day number 2 of jury selection was met with only 6 jurors being selected out of over 30 individuals. They are going to get 15 members of the jury, where 12 will be permanent members and 3 are going to be alternating jurors. Once that process is done and completed with, they are all going to be sequestrated down at the basement of the Temple of Justice, isolated from everything outside, only to focus on this case. As you heard from him, personal relationship, knowledge about the case, and all of these things are going to play on the reasoning of prospective jurors. Hence, only those who they claim are going to be objectives to the merits of the case and arguments and pieces of evidence presented are going to be jurors in this very high profile case. Whether jurors are escaping or prospective jurors were escaping the fact that they did not want to serve on the jury bench, that's another question to be answered. As to when we'll get into the actual hearing of testimonies and arguments and the presentation of evidence by defense and prosecution counsels, well, that is going to happen right after jury selection. If there are no injunctions and breaks and pauses and all of those things, we should expect this case to be in full swing after the jury selection is done. Days again and nights again in the confines of the Monrovia Central Prison for the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia and 3 other co-defendants. My name is Diamond Slanger. On behalf of the entire production team, we'd love to tell you thank you for watching from a very wet and rainy Temple of Justice. It's a wrap. Bye-bye.